Hey, Derek.
Hello?
Um, Off the bat, Ben Sherratt, is he unavailable or
Yeah, unavailable. Personal reasons, family matter he's dealing with. Don't know when he'll be back.
okay? And having Alex DeBrincat, like when you were thinking of line combinations, kind of what appealed to you about having those three together?
Yeah, I don't know if we're married to it. We'll see a lot of different combinations. It's the first look of camp. Obviously, three very talented players. And we want to get them together for day one, and they did some very good things, especially on some entries and some rush things. They all three play very fast, so yeah. Again, I don't think we're married to any lines at all. It's just a day one look.
Is that what these next few days and maybe even the first few exhibition games just are good to see kind of who looks good with whom and power play stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. Even going to the cop line, Cop, Perron, and Rass had some good run last year at times. So a little familiarity with those guys in day one. But again, I think we'll have all kinds of different looks throughout camp and early into the exhibition, especially with the new added depth.
It's on that subject of depth. I mean, do you like it? It looks like if everyone is healthy, you could potentially have three lines all with some scoring ability on it.
We hope so. I think just some added depth. I know with Sprong, even probably potentially starting in a quote unquote bottom six, scoring 20 goals last year. I think all that was kind of by design. We need more goals. Pretty evident and obvious from where we were last year, and we've tried to do that and address that in the off season.
And just so it is Sherratt, and then I know Carter Mercer is injured. Are those the only two not available for the start of camp?
No, it's a day-to-day type thing. Family matter. He's completely healthy.
No,
Uh,
I just meant unavailable. The Sherratt and Carter Mercer are the only two.
yes, correct. Yep. Sorry
Yeah,
about that. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unavailable. Yes.
okay. Thanks.
Is it me or Matt?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Ted, you can go ahead.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Still training camp, Derek. What excites you most about this team? I mean, you seems like you just have a lot more options than you did last year.
I probably just think the added depth, probably a little more comfortable, with their structure, with their systems, with their returning guys. I think guys did their work this summer. I really liked the pace of practice today and the tempo of practice. Players are no different than coaches, no different than fans. You add some pieces, it gets guys excited. So I think there's a little energy going into camp with what we added in the off season, and I think everyone was anxious to get to work today, and I think it showed in a pretty up tempo day one.
Derek, how do you meld all these new faces, new players into this? Is that a process? Does that take
Oh
some
yeah,
time? How do you go about
absolutely,
it?
absolutely, it's a process. We kind of jammed in an extra structure today than where we were ahead of day one last year, but I give the guys some credit. They've already done some work on the inclusion part of things. They've done some team things off the ice, even back in Detroit. And a lot of these new faces felt a lot more comfortable in day one. And I think it helped for a positive start in camp.
Just one last one. Just having Alex DeBrincat, what does he bring to the table as far as you're concerned?
Goals. We need goals. I mean, there's no doubt about it. A necessity in adding goals. You guys saw us last year. We played a lot of really quality team games, and we just couldn't find that goal. So hopefully goals. And one thing I got excited watching Alex back this summer. Just obviously once we acquired him, kind of dug in a little more in him and watched a lot of some video on him. A lot better puck transporter of the puck, especially in entries, and people probably give him credit for. I think if people just think of him as a goal scoring finisher. I was actually very happy with what I saw some other parts of his game.
Hey, do you feel more comfortable yourself doing this the second time around now?
Well, of course, and it's just even having our entire staff back. We're implementing a structure and a system from scratch. But we've had some tweaks to our systems, some tweaks to our structure. Probably even saw some things in our D zone, our neutral zone with some reps today, but just much more comfortable. Alex Westland in our meetings this summer nailed it. Like last year in day one, we felt like we're starting on the 1 yard line. Just now with familiarity and comfort level, we feel like we're starting on the 50, so it's a good thing.
Appreciate this. Thanks, Derek.
Max, go ahead.
Hey, Derek, you talked about obviously not being married to that top line yet, but what would you want to see from them over the, however, whenever they're together this fall to be comfortable with them in games?
Playing fast, making skilled plays at pace. Obviously, Dylan is a top puck transporter in the league. Those guys staying at his pace. Those guys maybe getting some synergy and some offense. It's even today in a couple of their shifts, they had some extended ozone time, which would love to see from them. So don't know what it'll look like for tomorrow, but that's the line we want to start with today, and it looked good.
And then I'm not sure how much you had seen anything of Edvinson before today skating, but what are your impressions of where he's at coming off the surgery?
Good. He was good. Maybe a little rusty there. It's tough to not be able to get those reps, but it does look like he did some work staying in shape. So good. And it's just, sometimes some of his skill just shows up, to be that big and to have hands like that. Obviously scored a nice goal in practice today, did some good things in some tight areas. So it's going to take him a little bit of time to get a little bit rust off.
And then as you guys try different combinations in the coming days, do you plan to play Jonathan Berggren up a little higher than where he was today? And what do you want to see from him?
Yeah, no, I have no idea on that yet. It's something we'll talk about as a staff here.
What do you want to see from him here and then in the preseason?
Just where he continued his more complete game. He was a great addition for us last year at times. We didn't have a lot of what he was. He was making plays. We went through some of those games where we were looking for some offense. He was one of the guys that could create some offense. So, but just continue to round out his entire game, be hard to play against, his wall play, typical habits we'd want from a lot of our guys.
Thank you.
Ansar, do you still have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know I was next. Anyway, Derek, I talk about the need for obviously for more offense in that respect. Getting guys like Gostis Beher and Petrie and even a healthy Wallman seen from the back end. How important is that going to be?
No, very important. I think today's NHL, people work so hard, detailed with the structure, working above. It's tough to get easy offense, and I think you need to create some offense from your back line, even on the offensive blue line. And it was kind of, I talked about what we've added in some depth scoring. I think that goes the same for some added offense on the back end.
Thanks, Derek.
George?
Coach, I was wondering if you could talk about your expectations for Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider this year. They not only, had successful rookie seasons, but they battled through some difficulties during their sophomore campaigns. Now that they're more established NHLers, what are you looking forward to seeing from them this year?
Just some natural steps, some consistency in their play. Both had really good days, by the way. I thought both stood out in camp today. Obviously, Mo was extremely physical today, which I thought, to me, that's him taking a step forward in his leadership. His approach in practice today, how physical he was. I thought he sent a standard and a tempo for practice today. And Raymond had a good day. The one thing with Raymond, he has done some work in the off season. Looks like he's put on some good weight. Again, I don't know if we need him bulking up and putting on a ton of weight, but it's good weight, which I think are just naturally going to come from. I think you just forget these guys are so young and their body's still developing. So I just think natural progressions and a little more consistency from both of them.
And somebody that's a little further along in the developmental spectrum, Michael Rasmussen, he was playing on the wing today. Are you just going to play him where you feel that he's most effective this year?
Yeah, good question. I think you said it at the end, where he's most effective. We still trust him at center. I think obviously with the addition of Comfer, hopefully Joe Valeno takes another step. We might see Ras on the wing, completely different player in the wing last year. I think even all the underlying numbers, he drove some offense. When he's on the wing, he seems a lot more productive and can drive some lines a little bit. Versatile player. We would trust him at center. We trust him on the wing. I think being on the wing frees him up a little more, maybe to establish a forecheck, to play a little more north-south game, which I thought suited him. And man, before that injury, he was one of our top players. And I know people can obviously point to the dip in our season last year to what we lost in the deadline, but what we lost in the deadline, those 3, 4, 5 players, with the addition of the exact timing of his injury really hurt us. And I was very happy to see where he was at today. That's a type of injury that just takes some time, and sometimes you fight through some good and bad days. And he had a really good day today. Hopefully responds well tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, last question, we'll go to Bob.
And Derek, you talk about depth. Is one of the advantages to depth that you're playing guys in roles that they're more naturally suited for, and you're not asking them maybe to do something that traditionally they haven't done in their careers?
100%. I mean, you saw us last year. We were asking guys, even without injury or through injury, to play up in top 3, top 6 roles. D-men playing in the top 4, which wasn't comfortable for them. So with that added depth, guys are slotted a little more properly right now. You knock on wood, and it's the NHL. We know we're going to have injury. Obviously, we're missing 2 key members of our team into camp, even in day 1 with Mazur and Benny. So yeah, of course, the management team did a really good job of putting people in the proper place to succeed, and hopefully they can stay in those spots.
Bringing in a veteran guy like Anisimov on a PTO, he had some real chemistry with DeBrincat in Chicago. Did that fact go into the decision to bring him here?
I think just that depth, probably a replacement for Carter, him being out in the rookie tournament, and just some added depth to fill a hole there. Attractive player for us, available on a tryout situation, and I think an easy decision for our management team.